Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Yes, and welcome back to another episode of Q Points. I am your co-host, DJ Sir Daniel.
What's happening, good folks? My name is Jay Ray, also known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay the Third. What's happening?
Listen, it is May is just pretty much over, right?
It really is.
I don't know what time it is right now. It's just flying. But what I am happy to announce, I do have an announcement, Jay Ray.
Okay.
If I smoked cigars, and I had enough, I would share with you all because I'm an uncle.
You're an uncle?
I'm an uncle. Yeah, I don't know if you heard.
I didn't.
Yes. I guess earlier this week, sometime because we like to keep these things hush hush. Rihanna gave birth to a baby boy, and I am as one of the one of Barbados's favorite sons. I have to welcome our newest prince into the fold. And offer a huge hearty congratulations to my Bayesian sister, Rihanna, and you're welcome to everybody else that's going to experience, us being a major part of your lives from now on.
Well, congratulations, Uncle Sir Daniel. Congratulations to Rihanna and ASAP Rocky.
A$AP Rocky, yeah, can't forget him.
Absolutely can. He was definitely part of it.
He's part of it.
He's part of it.
He had something to do with it.
Absolutely, and we continue to be really proud of all that Rihanna has accomplished within her career, and she has done a number of interviews talking about what it's like to be a mom. We actually did a video about that. We'll make sure that we post it so that y'all can watch it. But I know this is a really exciting time for her and her family and ASAP Rocky's family. So this is a good time. So congratulations, Uncle Sir Daniel.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Reggie. Reggie is tuning
Yes.
in. Reggie's offering his congratulations as well. It's a great time. It's a great time to be outside, as the kids say. And we were talking about this last week. The Lovers and Friends concert actually went off. It happened. It didn't happen without a hitch, but it happened.
Yes.
For all intents and purposes, it did happen. And I think we witnessed, I don't know if it's viral, but we witnessed a superior backstage moment. There were a lot of things that made this backstage moment great. But to me, hearing Rod Digger and Lauryn Hill rehearse their lines from the iconic Cowboys song from the Fugees album was just so dope. Those few seconds of them going back and forth, I was like, the fan in me was like, yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Yes. And actually watching Lauren smile, because there is a view of how she is portrayed and how we see her. Yes. And watching that moment backstage with all of them there was like, Ooh, that's
Mm-hmm.
nice. That's
Especially
dope.
that's super dope. Especially when Rod Digger says, "Watch these fat bitches get
Get
all
all
up
up
in
in
your
your
pockets." And Lauren is in the background talking about stuff. That's the best line ever. And we all say the same thing. We all know. We all feel the same way.
We do.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. We all kind of think of Lauren Hill as a super uptight, call me Miss Hill, really outlandish personality. But she's still L Boogie from around the way sometimes, and had a
Yes.
great time. I have to say, I watched some of the footage from the Lovers and Friends show, and I have to say, I don't know if you've realized this or I've said this to you publicly, but I think I've said it publicly. I've been openly middle aged for a while now,
Hmm.
and as somebody who is middle aged, I've said this publicly. Like the window for me going to outdoor concerts without assigned seating is closed.
Yes.
It's completely closed. I'm not here for it.
Right.
I will watch it online with the rest of you, middle aged Gen Xers, and enjoy it because I saw. You know who else I saw at the concert
Who?
that was superb? Mason Betha, the Bishop Pastor Mason
Of
Betha
all people.
of all people
Mace.
was Mason
Okay.
Betha was on there. I don't know, something happened to his music,
Hmm.
but he can't stop. He won't stop because he continued rhyming a cappella. And not for nothing, we people like to make fun of Mace. Mace, not for nothing. Mace is nice.
Oh, clearly. I mean, Mace wrote so many joints. Mace had a bunch of hits in a short period of time. He is a veteran MC. And that's dope when it shows professionalism when a artist can figure it out. Like the show has to happen. Like he comes from the school of the show's got to happen.
That's right.
If I'm getting my check, the show got to happen. So I don't care if the music ain't doing what it needs to do. I'm about to do this whole set a cappella.
Acapulco for some of y'all. And yeah, did you see? Oh, so Khalees. Khalees did a great job. Khalees was
Awesome.
there. A Marie.
A Marie was there. What? Okay, so can we talk about this particular show? So here's
Yeah,
what's interesting, and this is why I was on the bus of will this happen? There was
right.
so many artists.
Mm-hmm.
And only I think like two or three like ultimately didn't perform, which is amazing because there were so many people on the bill. Um so just the fact that we're talking like A. Marie and Khalees and Mace and Lil Kim was there and it was
Ray
just like
J.
Ray J. It was just on and on with the amount of people that were there. So shout out to those folks that got to go. I did see pictures from some folks that I know who actually were there. And but I'm with you, Sir Daniel. One,
Wait,
it's Vegas. I
are
am
you
I
openly
am
middle?
I am openly middle aged.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
about to be in really it's less than 24 hours because I will be 45.
Mm,
My official birthday is like 5:35 p.m. or something. But so
okay.
tomorrow I turn 45 years old. So I am right there in middle age and I'm so happy about being
Yes.
45.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know?
I'm happy to celebrate you turning 45. Um, I would we would be celebrating. Well, we're still celebrating him.
Mhm.
One of my close friends, who's no longer with us, he would have been turning, but I believe either 47 or 48. So I want to
Mm.
shout out Shannon, the memory of Shannon Green. We still think about you all the time, and we still talk about you all the time, and smile and laugh regarding your memory and your friendship. So, yeah, shout out to my Taurus brothers.
Yeah.
It's Taurus season. I'm gonna let y'all have that for now.
Listen, it's child's
Shout
about to
out
be
to y'all.
over in like 2 days. So,
That's really
we
so. Y'all,
Geminis are like standing here like, let's go.
let's go. So shout out to y'all. So today we were talking about covers, and it's
Mhm.
so funny that we're discussing artists that cover records that either are wildly successful or are kind of on the side of, you know, music that is entered into the great lexicon of pop culture. But it's so funny we did the reel featuring
Mm-hmm.
Shaka Khan,
Yep.
and then today we find out that Shaka Khan has found a new home, a new record label home,
Yeah.
and will be dropping music this summer.
Listen, and it's gonna be hot. Listen, her last joint, Hello Happiness. Listen, that joint was crazy. Like Shaka Khan in 2019, in February of 2019, dropped a dope EP of like bangers, y'all. So I'm looking forward to whatever she is cooking up in the studio because the woman is really good at making music. When she's on, she's really on. So I'm excited.
Absolutely, if she wants to do it, and she's like all the cylinders are cooking, it's
Yep.
gonna be really
It's
great.
gonna be
So
really great.
we're looking forward to that. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna so one of the things that kind of brought us to this topic, so of course you and I were having this dialogue from the Billboard Awards. So of course last week, let's take a moment, shout out again Mary J. Blige for her Icon Award. I watched, first of all, I watched Janet's intro and then I watched
Mm.
Mary's speech. I cried twice.
Oh wow. Okay.
I
Yeah.
cried twice. So one of the things, I don't know if you know this about me, but when something makes me really, really happy, I cry. And so that made me feel really good inside, and so I cried, and just a huge, huge accomplishment, and so it was just dope watching these two black women love on each other, and watching Mary in particular just kind of get the award was super cool.
Absolutely. Yes. To your point, them loving on each other. I absolutely love moments like that when people give each other props that are, have been in the trenches, and especially from one icon to another. I love that as well. But I think what got me really excited was when Mary was talking her ish. Like, you know what? Yeah, I was ghetto,
Yeah,
and that was problematic. But guess what? Now all of y'all want to
what
be
to be
ghetto too.
right,
All of y'all want to be city girls and be out, all out there like that. I was the original city girl. No,
right.
but yeah, I love that about being. That's one of the great things about getting older, is that when you get older and you evolve as a person, and you can stand flat footed, like, you know what? Yeah, and pat yourself on the back. I did that. So yes,
Yes,
that was a great moment as well, and I'm so glad that because we are real fans of Mary
yes,
J. Blige, that we were able to give her props, and we stand on that. And so yes,
yes.
shout out to us for being real fans of Mary J. Blige.
Absolutely. We love Mary. And so, okay,
Mhm.
heading into this topic, right? So,
Yes.
I didn't watch the Billboard Awards. I think we know how I feel about award shows in general, and I kind of watch them
Yep.
in pieces. But I happened to catch Silk Sonic,
Mm.
and they performed Love's Train. Before I
Talk
talk
about it.
about this song, I want to talk about the fact that I was hearing a lot towards the end of last year of how Silk Sonic missed their moments and what happened to the record. And I was sitting on the sidelines like, these folks clearly don't listen to classic R&B radio because Silk Sonic joints played all of 2021. Like all of Skate, Leave the Door Open, Now Love's Train, the song that I love that I can never that I can never remember, the Smoking Out the Window. All four of them joints are staples now in classic R&B radio. So this remake, watching them perform it flawlessly, was like, this is good. Like it's a really solid remake. It's very faithful to the original. Because when it comes on, you sometimes think you're going to hear the original, and at this point, you just don't.
Mhm.
And but watching them do it on that Billboard stage was cool because now I'm like, oh my god, so many young people get to be introduced to this kind of classic R&B song, and it just got us thinking about covers.
Right. And when covers are done correctly, to your point, it gives people, it makes people curious about the original, because you'll have people like us talking about, oh, that's a cover.
Mm-hmm.
You need to hear, you need to check out the original, and
Mm-hmm.
then hopefully people will check out the original. And so now not only is Silk Sonic getting, love for the song, but the original artist can get some love too, and get some, get some back end off of the writing and the publishing. And
Yes.
because a lot of times artists that came from, gen- 2 to 3 generations, well, 2 to 3 decades ago,
Mm-hmm.
didn't necessarily sign great contracts, so they didn't necessarily get a lot of money.
Right, right,
So
right.
I think, and that's why I kind of wish a lot more artists did that.
Mm-hmm.
Do a nice cover of something. Look at catalogs, look at the people that came before you and really made noise, and find out delve into what it is about that song that made people excited, and see and put your own spin on it. There's nothing wrong, because you got to do something live, because you
Absolutely.
can't, you can't, people don't want to sit through a whole bunch of ballads
Right.
unless unless you're going to a chem show, then you know what you're getting.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, so yes, we got to talking about covers, and then J Ray and I, as usual, decided we are going to, pick on some of the covers that we either loved or hated or
Mm-hmm.
are indifferent about, and let's just talk about it, because of course we love to talk about these kind of things.
Yes.
So, J Ray, you want to go first? Let's hit us off with your first pick.
Let's okay, so my first cover that I want to talk about is from Aaliyah's first album, so At Your Best You
Mm,
Are Love. I'll be taking a step back about talking about Aaliyah's first record because obviously it was produced by Thou Who Shall Not Be Named. But this cover,
yeah.
in a lot of ways, I mean, I love the Isley Brothers version of this song, but I actually think Aaliyah's version is my favorite version of this song. I feel like her vocal is incredibly solid. It toes that line of kind of intimacy but innocence,
Hmm.
because of, certainly because of her age, I'm sure, when she was singing it, but it's a beautifully crafted song. And one of my favorite remakes to hear, which is also another song. So when we start talking about classic R&B radio, I hear the Aaliyah version of that song more than I hear the original version of that song at this point. And I just totally enjoy listening to it every time.
I'm not mad at that pick. That's a very wonderful song. And with regards to Aaliyah, and people like to talk about, people with feather voices,
Hmm.
it takes a lot of control.
Hmm.
It takes a lot of control to sing like that. People think it's just, I'm singing very soft, so I'm not really exerting any energy. But it takes a lot of control, because one, you're exhibiting breath control, diaphragm control,
Hmm.
all of that technical stuff. But then on top of that, you have to remember to interpret the song
Yep.
and give the song uh, feeling and emphasis where it needs it. So, yeah, I love that pick. My first pick, I am the self-proclaimed, I'm a female MC historian, and that's what I do. That's what I love. So I'm going to. There's a couple of them that we're going to talk about tonight, and the first one we're going to talk about is Bahamadia's interpretation or cover of MC Light's "Paper Thin." And we mentioned this a couple shows ago, because I don't think you were fully aware of that version. Um, it's a good version. First of all, Bahamadia is, we're talking about people that exhibit con- control their instrument. Bahamadia is definitely an example of an MC that controls her instrument, because she's not super boisterous
Hmm.
by any means. She has a very cool demeanor, very calm demeanor, and so her voice reflects that. And so when you're listening to her version of Paper Thin, it's it's a tad, a couple beats slower than the original.
Hmm.
Um, it was produced, of course, by Questlove and the Roots crew, because it appeared on a B side of one of her singles. I can't remember right now, but yeah, it. I don't think it caught on because people like J. Ray love the original so
I
much
do.
that they didn't even pay attention. It could have been the timing of it because Bahamadia, I will say this: Collage is a phenomenal piece of work, a phenomenal
Hmm.
body of work. But there was a gap in between time of when the singles were released and when the actual album was released. So then, my guess is that there was a the people that could have um, latched onto the album and could have become real big fans at that time may have lost interest, may have. And so by throwing out that B side was kind of like, okay, let's do something to get people's interest, or get people's attention on the album and the rest of the body of work. So your diehard hippity hop fans like me, already caught the album and loved it, and but I think Paper Thin was an attempt to pay homage and as well as hook people in because people like covers.
People like covers. I want to stay with Collage for a second though, because one,
Hmm.
that record is dope. Um, and I've never really, I don't think you and I have like really talked about that album. And we probably just need to do like a show about kind of that era. I
Yeah.
actually think one of the reasons that Collage didn't catch on is unfortunately, Bahamadia was ahead of. I truly think if Collage had hit in like 2000, it would have
Mm.
been because
Mm.
by then the Roots had done all the stuff that they were doing, right? You Got
Right.
Me had already come out. Dilla was on the scene and like
Yeah.
doing his thing.
The
Philly
whole
Jill
neo
Scott,
soul movement.
the whole neo soul
Yes.
movement was emerging, and Collage. Shout out to Guru, because she came through Guru and that camp.
Yep.
Shout out to Guru for seeing the vision and being able to get the album out, and it was a great record. I just think it beat everything else that it could have rode the wave of. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, I didn't catch that cover. And yeah, I love the original version of Paper Thin, but I I'm fascinated by hip hop covers. So actually my second song is a hip hop cover. Because okay, so now we're at the point in hip hop where we can have covers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So my second joint is Pharaoh Monch's Welcome to the Terror Dome, which was on his
Mm.
second record. So Welcome to the Terror Dome, of course, originally done by Public Enemy. Pharaoh Monch did it on his second album, Desire, which is a super interesting record. So for those who haven't heard it, definitely go and check it out. I was surprised though to get this cover on it, because it definitely pays homage to the first one. Lyrically, he doesn't change anything. He just delivers it in an interesting way, and the production is really dope. So it calls back to the original and kind of brings PE's original vision forward into early 2000s version of hip hop. And I just thought it was fun. Like, it's one of those joints where I, I'm fascinated when rappers cover other rappers and keep the lyrics the way
The
they
same.
are, and not just like rap over something. And we don't get a lot of that. So Bahamadia would have been a version of that. This is another version of that, where a rapper just is kind of like, all right, I'm gonna cover Public Enemy. And I thought that was interesting. So yeah, that's my second joint.
I Public Enemy, especially a song like "Welcome to the Terror Dome," the energy behind it is so frenetic. I wouldn't think to cover it, or I wouldn't. That wouldn't be a song that I would pick to cover because it's not like a party joint.
No.
And Public Enemy tends to be heavy on the content tip.
Mm-hmm.
And but you know, Pharaoh Monch is no slouch. So
Mm-mm.
shout out to him for taking that on because that's a heavy responsibility,
Oh yeah.
especially with hip hop, rap music, especially classics that are revered. Yeah, that's you know you're really putting on your big boy pants and your big girl panties to cover a classic, and that's why I'm gonna give the Queens of Miami, the City Girls. I'm gonna give them a shout out for their cover of Salt and Pepper's classic "I'll Take Your Man." Now, you mentioned the fact that the songs that we mentioned before, they didn't change any much of the lyrics. They didn't change any of the lyrics. The City Girls, however, took some poetic license
Mm-hmm.
and did changed some few things and made it City Girl like. But I must say, regardless, and this was on their debut album, so they've grown a lot since that first album, especially Young Miami. However, I must give them credit. The energy, the the sass of the song "I'll Take Your Man" because you can't you can't be weak saying "I'll take your man." You gotta stand on 2 feet and say and mean that. And when you come across because Cheryl and Sandy, Salt and Pepper, when the original came out in '86, you could radio banned it because they said "ho" in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning in the beginning of the record, and that was very taboo for '86 for the early '80s, and especially with two women rapping about taking somebody else's man, and they were very serious, and the City Girls are no joke. Young Miami right now is involved in a Instagram Twitter beef with Diddy's baby mom, and she's living. She's like, oh, I may have rapped that stuff, but I live it.
Right.
I will I will take your man, and I will comment on all his pictures. I will still hang out with him because I'm that chick. And so I think it's one of those songs that it's tongue in cheek, it's fun, it's energetic. People can rap along to it and put themselves in it. Like if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling like that you're going out and you want to feel like you're the baddest, you can rap along to something like that, and that's what a good cover does. They the music it sounded updated for the 22s and the 20s and whatnot. So that's why I give them props. I give the City Girls props for their cover of "I'll Take Your Man."
Do you feel like more what are your thoughts on more MCs covering stuff from the past? What do you feel like that's important? Do you feel like that could bridge this gap that I sometimes feel like hip hop always is rubbing against itself with new and old? Do you feel like more covers might help to bridge some gaps?
It absolutely could. It's an opportunity for the newer artists to reach out to the originators and include them in the process because we see other genres of music doing that all the time. You have your country music artists, your R&B artists linking up and doing songs together, and they're doing performances. We saw her bring out Lenny Kravitz and Sheila E. All those people during Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis during her performance. I believe it was the Grammys, and everybody loved it. Imagine if I don't even want to put people on the spot, but imagine if imagine if Drake,
Mm-hmm.
um, and LL came out and LL killed it with like a quick 16 because we're talking about two lover boys from
Yes.
different generations, but there would be no Drake without an LL. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh my God. Like that right there. First of all, if Drake hears this, you need to call LL Cool J and get LL on the joint. Because first of all, LL's ping game is legendary. So y'all need to just figure that out.
And and nobody talks greasy about being a ladies' man better than LL and Drake. Imagine if you had peanut butter and chocolate together, two great tastes that taste great together. I mean, but I really wish to answer your question, I really wish younger artists or even older artists would reach out and say, "Hey, let's try and do something that will bridge the generations
Yeah,
and could actually generate some real money and get you on tours and get you performances in different places." But
absolutely. Because we just posted about I Feel For You, and of course, Melly Mel is featured in that. Melly Mel is still out here. We was just on Melly Mel's IG today. Melly Mel is out here still like crushing the weightlifting game. So imagine, right? It's crazy, right? Y'all need to check out Melly Mel's IG because the brother is killing it right now. But
Melly Mel just turned 61, by the way.
right. Imagine some of the younger cats kind of reaching back. You know what I'm saying? And even pulling forward some of the stuff from like the message and all of that and white lines and like, first of all, those songs could fit in today's moment. That would be super dope for some folks to reach back and bring that forward.
White lie. Well, I don't know if that would be appropriate if you're facing, RICO charges.
Right.
Right
But
now, I don't know if you want to remake that particular song, but somebody else that doesn't have any,
yeah.
pending charges, you could remake that song. But speaking of birthdays, I almost forgot. So today is the icon, the Jamaican legend herself. It is Grace Jones' birthday.
It is.
And if we're talking about remakes, I don't know if a lot of people have ever heard Warm Leatherette,
Yeah.
but Warm Leatherette that's one of my favorite Grace Jones songs.
Hmm.
But Warm Leatherette is a cover by a group called The Normal.
Yep. Absolutely. Cover of a it's kind of like a punk rock joint.
Mm-hmm.
And love what they did with that song. But yeah, that is a cover, and that's one of those ones. It's so faithful. Whitney Houston is good at that, right? Luther was good at that, where they do a song and you think it's their song and you like, actually
Right.
it's a cover.
It's a cover.
But yeah, Warm Leatherette is. That played, so the night I got COVID, Warm Questlove dropped Warm Leatherette, and I took my mask off and I was getting my life.
That damn Questlove.
That damn
Damn
Quest.
Questlove. But I want to ask you a question. So, I mean, we were talking about covers, going lyric for lyric when it comes to rap. Then, of course, you have people that make covers on R&B songs or otherwise, where they change it or make it almost unrecognizable. Like, do you have do you prefer that a cover stays close to the original, or are you open to it being sounding completely different, something completely, yeah, otherworldly than what the intention or what it sounds like? Because I'm trying to think of something else that did that. Another cover.
Yeah, there's actually a recent version of what you're describing. I'm open to it. I think that if a song is done well, it can appear in many different genres. So I think my favorite version, this wasn't even a cover, this was just the original artist doing the song in a completely different way. But
Mhm.
Robin actually did like an acoustic version of Dancing on My Own. And it was like crazy because it's a dance song, but the version that she did was just like this acoustic thing. And I was like, what? So it was almost like her covering her own song, which was nuts. But speaking of Robin, because Robin is really good, because I think the most recent version of that is Robin and Maipe covering Nina
Buffalo
Cherry's Buffalo
Stance.
Stamps in a
Yes.
completely different way, in a completely different style, with Nina Cherry's blessing on it, right? So I am wide open to what a cover could be. I remember Janet Jackson doing the Rod Stewart joint Tonight's the Night, but she didn't change Rod's lyrics to it. So she sang Girl like he would have sang it.
Mm.
And in 1997, that was revolutionary. You know what
That
I'm
was several.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like really taboo that Janet Jackson was singing this song and about to a woman and not changing the lyrics. Like it was a thing. So I'm open to changes and or you staying faithful. I just want it to be good.
Prime example, and I was trying to remember it, and it just came to me. Alien Ant Farm
Mm-hmm.
did a cover of Michael Jackson's "Smooth Criminal," like
Yeah.
a really kind of hard
Heart.
edge speed metal version.
Yep.
And this shit was dope.
Yeah.
It was
That's a good
the
cover.
video. The video was great, and it took it to a completely different genre, but it paid homage to the fact that this song is that good, that a song that's really good and stands on its own can be done in any kind of genre.
Absolutely, absolutely. And let's shout out folks that so Reggie was here, of course Wani's here, and Kipper's here. Hey Kipper. So
Kippers in the
shouting
building.
absolutely. So okay, my next
Yes.
cover actually falls into this idea. So my next cover that I absolutely love, my God. Michelle Indigo Cello, who is right there, over there. Anyway, redid. There's a cover on that record too, which is really good. But no, did Don't Disturb This Groove from her Ventriloquism album, which was her album of covers from 2018. That whole album is crazy because she reimagined so many songs. Like even Atomic Dog is completely reimagined on this
Ooh.
album. Right. But okay, so put in context, Don't Disturb This Groove is one of my favorite songs of all time.
By the
By the
system.
System.
Mhm.
Interestingly enough, there was a band called The System 2 that has another song that's one of my favorite songs of all time. Completely different band, but they were the 80s group that only had like one EP. Sidebar. Right.
Right.
Don't Disturb This Groove though. Growing up, so that song came out in like 86, 87. I think it was
Hmm.
86. It's one of those songs that situates me in a time and place. It reminds me of summer for whatever reason, specifically summer nights,
Yes. Yes.
and just a sweet ass song. Beautifully
It's the
sung.
it's the synthesizers for me.
It's the synthesizers that the groove is nuts. So what Michelle does though is really take the foundation of the groove,
Hmm.
slows it down, and it becomes a burning slow jam. And it is so pretty. So it's not like it's just really dope. It's just really dope. Y'all have to like play it. It feels more stripped down, and of course with Michelle's vocal, she has a deeper tone. Yes, Kipper, smoldering.
That's the word,
That's the
Kipper.
word.
Yes.
And she really brings that out in her version of the song. And it's almost sing-songy. And man, oh man, I can't get enough of that remake. So yeah, Don't Disturb This Groove by Michelle Cello, remaking a classic song that stands clearly on its own,
Hmm.
and this remake gives it another life.
I am just solely. I'm sold. Like I'm about to when we get off, I'm about to check it out myself because I too love that song. So yes, and I love Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're coming to here's my third pick. Um, and it's not a rap song. It's not a female rapper. However, it is Tina Turner
Mm-hmm.
covering um Albie I'm gonna say I'll be sure. Al Green, Al Green's "Let's Stay Together," which, for all intents and purposes, when Tina's one of those artists that if she does a song, it becomes hers.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that when they put their mark on their song, it becomes theirs. Al Green's, of course, still stands up, but I think when you put them both side to side, hers is more of an '80s pop R&B cover, and it does all the things that an '80s song is supposed to do, but it makes people sing along to it, and the lyrics still stand the test of time. I think it was just, and her voice,
Mm-hmm.
the rockabilly tone, the harsh tone, because her tone and Al Green's tone are very close, but she still sounds womanly, and she still adds, she, like Michelle, like you were saying, she adds a smoldering kind of sexiness to the sexy growl to it. But I absolutely love that version of "Let's Stay Together" by Tina Turner, and it's just, again, a great songwriting. A great song is a great foundation, and you could turn it to yours if you are invested in making it become your song. And I think we've compiled a great list. But I have a caveat. There's this one song. I love the song, but I absolutely don't ever want to hear it remade again.
What song?
"Killing Me Softly."
Oh,
I
that
don't.
don't do that
I'm
song ever
good.
again. It's
I'm good.
done.
I enjoyed the Albie Shore. I enjoyed the Albie Shore version,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, everybody loves the Fugees' Lauryn Hill version. Everybody loves that. But because of the success of the song, everybody wants to sing it on every talent show,
Mm-hmm.
every America's Got Talent, American Idol, all those shows, and I'm quite over it. It's it's a karaoke favorite. I get it. Keep it in the karaoke rooms. We don't. I just would. I don't care to hear that again. I think there are other songs in the Roberta Flack canon that people
Plenty.
can pick from. Plenty that y'all can pick from. But yeah, just don't do "Killing Me Softly" anymore. Just, this is a personal ask on my behalf. That's all.
Listen, you are absolutely right. I actually think, I mean, the Fuji's version kind of like, it was like, I don't even know who else can do this. And unless someone is doing a version that calls directly back to the original in some interesting way, maybe I'll accept it. But I think you're right. I don't know what you gonna do. I don't know what they gonna do. What you gonna do? That song done
Yes,
been did.
right. Again, the catalog is extensive. So if you want to cover something, there's plenty to pick from.
There's
Plenty,
plenty to
plenty,
pick from.
plenty. And you know who, we don't talk about this enough, but you know who has been really thoughtful about picking songs that they remake and they absolutely knock them out of the box, is En Vogue.
Oh my goodness. Listen, shout out to Invoke. So that first record you get Yesterday, they did like a acapella Yesterday that giving him something he can feel. Like, what? First of all, to do an Aretha Franklin song, and literally there is Aretha's version and there is In Vogue's version, and they exist in their own universes, but they're both classics.
Yep.
It's not
Yeah, they.
fake.
Not at all. You're absolutely right. You can turn on A Quiet Storm in any city across this nation, and you can hear Aretha's version, and to your point, you can hear En Vogue's version. They might be 2 hours apart, but they could be played during the same Quiet Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And to their credit, and what's the other song that they remade? Um, there was that. There was Yesterday. E- Even just their quick cover of when Who's Loving You, that
Oh,
everybody, so
mm-hmm.
open up, Hold
Hold
On.
on. Oh my God. Yep. And Kipper
Yeah.
just mentioned it. Oh my. So first of all, actually that was pretty much our first introduction to them was doing that a cappella version because everybody had to sing a cappella back then, y'all, because we had just come off of Milli Vanilli. So if you was going to sing
Yeah.
something, you had to sing it with no music.
Yeah. You had to show and prove.
Yes, but them doing that at the beginning was just classic. They're another group. So we've named several because yes, we have Luther, we have Whitney. In Vogue is another group that once they did a joint, it was like, oh, that's their version.
That's their version.
Can I ask? Okay, so we want y'all to tell us though. So we haven't done this in a while. Look, y'all can send us in. Go ahead and send us either some text, audio, or video, and let us know what is your favorite remake of a song. It could be any genre. And if you go over to qpnt.net/fan mail, you can leave us a message. Like I said, it could be text, it could be audio, it could be video. But let us know what your favorite remake is, and it might be on our social media or in the next show.
Please do. And we've really enjoyed this has been a fun, lighthearted show. And I don't know, J Ray, there's been some pretty heartbreaking and serious things that have been going on across our nation. And I think it's our duty as historians, as keepers of the culture, to add our voice to this awareness. And I just think it's unfair what's happening to certain people in this country, just based on their race, just based on their gender. It really breaks my heart. And, J Ray and I have joined forces to address this. And I think it's just time that we just put a name to it and speak truth to power regarding this particular issue. J Ray. Are you a black woman? Are you a black woman that's a rap artist? Are you a black woman rap artist that attended an award show recently? Do you know this woman?
If this is you, you may be eligible for compensation. Call the Q Points Women MC hotline at 484-380-5497 and tell us your story. We can get you what you deserve. You deserve to spit dope lyrics safely. The Q Points Women MC hotline is a working phone number, and any messages you leave there may be used for marketing purposes. Gang, gang. We had to talk about that.
We had to. If you see something, say something. If you see that young lady, say something. Call the authority. Something. This can't happen anymore. On behalf of Meg Thee Stallion, Doja Cat,
Azalea Banks.
especially Azalea Banks, Little Kim, you know, this person must be stopped,
Oh
and
my
people
God.
like her.
So, I don't know why it's happening. It's the weirdest thing. I watched the clips and I watched the videos. I don't understand why she's there. I don't get it. I didn't know who she was. I mean, I've obviously then when you told me Suicide Squad, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I remember her from that movie.
Yeah,
Why is she fawning over these black women in a very creepy way? It's one thing to be like, yo, shout out. It's another thing to be exactly, Kipper. Exactly.
so for those of you who don't know that young lady, she is an actress. Her name is Cara. What's the last name?
Dev Del
Delvine.
Delvine, that sounds right.
Cara Delvine. She's an actress. She's very intense about her fandom. She's if you type in her name and just do a search of her, she has popped up in the faces of numerous female rappers, women rappers, and is very like cringy, kind of intense of her fandom. Like there's touching, there's intense rapping in their faces along with their songs in in black voice and black effect, and yeah, there's some very uncomfortable sniffing of people's legs and touching. It's on a deeper level, it's very indicative of this your property that
Yes.
I can touch and I can I can marvel of your body and I have free agency to touch you and to invade your space, which is very indicative of a lot of the behaviors that we've been seeing and that has been called to the carpet in the most recent years. People call that CRT or
Hmm.
whatever, and it's just us recognizing, hey, sometimes y'all just don't understand boundaries, and you think
Hmm.
that because we're black, there's this thing where you still feel like there's some type of ownership and you can touch and you can it's very odd. It's very odd behavior. I feel cringy for the girls, the Kim's, the Azaleas. She was on Azaleas trying to rap,
Perform.
trying to perform, and this girl is doing everything in her power to take attention away from Azalea and from these people. And I don't know what she's getting out of it, the attention that she's receiving, but it's just really creepy. And I'm sure there's probably going to be expose or interview where she tearfully remarks of how she just wants to, be friends, and she's just really excited about being in their presence, and that I thought I was just being authentic and blah blah blah. But it's creepy.
It's creepy. The picture that we of her peeking around, Meg is on the carpet taking photos. She was literally peeking around the corner.
Yeah.
It's weird, and
It's very Stan 2022.
it's if this is staying in 2022, y'all can't have that. Y'all can't have that. Y'all doing too much now.
Maybe Dido might make a reappearance and say, I'll sing the hook again
Right.
because she's clearly a Stan in the creepiest way
In the
possible.
creepiest way. The Azalea, if y'all can find that, it's online. You will
Yeah,
find that clip of the video of Azalea, and I just really feel bad because it's like this is uncomfortable. This shouldn't happen.
very uncomfortable. But yeah, so we come to the end of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and I know we mentioned it before, but I did not want to go to end the show without wishing my co-host and friend Jay Ray the happiest and most well deserved birthdays, and you deserve everything that your heart desires, and that you because J Ray is a joy to work with, a genius. He's all the things. He's like anybody that knows him absolutely loves him. And if you see him on the socials, please shout him out. Give him some birthday love starting tonight and all throughout tomorrow. He's a really dope guy. I just want to say happy birthday, J Ray.
Thank you, man. 45, y'all.
45 King in the house. He's the
I
45 King for tomorrow.
Oh, you know what? Shout out. You know what? I need to play just like 45 King joints all day. We were talking
All
about
right.
DJ Mark the 45 King before we started tonight's show. And that is definitely something to do is play some 45 King. I want to give you a shout out as well. Sugar Honey on the Rocks. Listen, y'all need to go over to DJ Sir Daniel's Mixcloud. Link is in the chat to check out Sugar Honey on the Rocks. Because you be doing your thing, man. Like, fun show. That last show was good. I mean, the shows just be good. So, good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody, if you were planning on coming through to Rocksteady this weekend, I will not be there. There is an they're shutting down the kitchen or the restaurant for that evening because they're having an amazing block party weekend the whole weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I mean, there are international artists coming for this whole block party bashment party that they're having. All the Caribbean massive, the African nations, countries come on out to Rocksteady in Atlanta off of Marietta Street. It's a complete vibe. If you follow me, you know I'm there Sundays doing slow jams. But the way they're going to be rocking this weekend, ain't nobody checking for no slow jams. So I have the weekend off, but you need to come out there and get your groove on. I'm sure there's going to be food outside, drinks. I know the work crew is going to be there
Mm-hmm.
doing their thing.
Yeah.
The oh, Louis Vega is going to be there.
Listen, and if Louis Vega come in, y'all need to go. Louis Vega going to be there, and y'all going sweat, kids. Go sweat.
Bananas. So if you're looking for something to do this coming weekend, if you're here in Atlanta, by all means come out to Rocksteady on Friday and Saturday for the Rocksteady Block Party Affair.
Cool beans. Listen, make sure, y'all, that you visit our website. You can become a Q Points Insider. You should head on over to Apple Podcasts and make sure that you subscribe. Also, leave us a rating and a review. Also, do the same thing on Podchaser. I know we say it all the time, but it is true. When you rate and review us on Podchaser, it really does help to spread the word about the show because it touches so many different things, helps with our Google SEO, all of that stuff. So definitely head over to Podchaser, leave us a rating and review, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. If you are watching anywhere else that you're not on YouTube, go ahead over to YouTube and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can get notified.
Absolutely. So, J Ray, what do we say every week? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the music play. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
I am J Ray, and thank you, Kipper, for the happy birthday. I'm J Ray, y'all. Peace.
Peace.